This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat for the AM, Monday, November 7th, 2022, the day before the election. Come one, come all, get comfortable. Need to talk about the market. A lot going on. Not surprising. Some things are rallying, some things are not. It's just lots of games. And if you like to play games and you know there's chop, let's talk about it. Want to give it a few seconds to let people jump in. So, yeah, hopefully everyone's well. Y'all jump on in. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Going to keep this pretty open, pretty free-flowing. Obviously, if you're following on Twitter, social media, StockTwits, whatever, if you bought some CF today, feeling good. AA feeling good. NTR feeling good. Sold a little oil on the pop today. Not feeling great about it because it is going slightly higher. Gold stuff, took some profits on. Feel pretty good about that. But again, we'll talk about why you trade around things and what's going on. And please get involved. Ask questions because this is hard. There's some friends that are just absolutely mind screwed. And it just drives me crazy that every day they do the same things. Sadly, their account balance continues to be a fluttering mess. Up, down, down, up, down, down. And they don't realize it's all on them. And there's certain things that you just don't do. And there's just certain things you stay away from. And there's certain things you got to be careful of. And guess what? Just people continue to make the same mistakes. And the goal is not to do that. You have to have self-discipline. I mean, it has to be an amazing amount of self-discipline potentially, but people don't do it. Just give it another minute. Let some of the folks come on in. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Took my wife out to a nice little dinner yesterday with some friends for the anniversary. I appreciate everybody. I think people learn as the more they hang out. Like, if we're saying something to you, and I'm saying me, anyone concerned in the Discord room, it's because we're trying to help. And some people don't respond to any help, and eventually you just have to, as some of the older folks know, I would just ban people for like a week or two, maybe even a month. Just be like, hey, come back in a month when your head's right, because it's like you can't even absorb the reality of things because you're so upside down in your head and you're just continuing to do the wrong things, and you have like these beliefs before what the market evidence is, and it's so hard. I know. You want to have a belief, and then the evidence looks correct, and then guess what? It doesn't always work out in the time frame you think. A lot of people always expect straight line moves. I try to tell people, like, trading around the core is where you get rich, because in case you're wrong, at least you took some profits, and if it's right, you are playing the game along the whole way. So, all right, let's jump into it. A lot of people this morning were, hey, what's CF doing? And it's like, hey, let CF do what CF does. And we talked about buying it in the 103s. Said watch this 50% fib. Told folks in the Discord room, if it holds 103, I'm punching this thing pretty hard for a day trade. My man Hayoti trying to warn me about Mosaic. Good point. They have earnings after the close today. And that stock, and the reason why I had Mosaic up is it's been waterlogged, literally. Waterlogged. And talk about like the definition of just nothing for months. 6 months basically, just nowhere. They have earnings after the close. I know they had issues because they're based in Florida from the hurricane. Obviously, the rivers are low, Mississippi, whatever. It's hard. It's hard to know for sure what their earnings reaction is going to be. So if you're trading CF NTR today and you bought dips, because again, we talked about you could buy NTR at 72. I'm not surprised it made a slightly lower low today, but look at that candle and look at this area. Think about the capitulation action in NTR. If the market's going to float up, and people are like, oh, the VIX is broken, and some people joke about it, and they know it's not. They know the reality is that money's just rotating. It's just leaving tech, and it's going to commodities. And we've told you that was happening since literally last November. That was going to happen. If you didn't watch the video, let me just see if I can even pull it up. It'll make you laugh. It will absolutely make you laugh because it's number one, the long-term outlet tech war. Who wins? And if you ever watch this video, published it, I think in December, November. I don't know. I think November actually. Where's the dates on this stuff? I don't know why it's not showing the date, but y'all know. 11 months ago. There it is at the bottom. And we talked about this was going to be a continuing theme. A continuing theme going forward. Now what? It's tough to know. You got the election tomorrow. I've said I thought we had chop before it and then rise, and people are anticipating a blue smash, red wave, whatever you want to call it. Now, at this point, the thing that's interesting to me, and keep in mind this, we're running out of diesel. And again, whether you like, again, I don't really like to talk politics because I'm trying to just focus on green. But if blue has any chance, I think oil rallies hard. If the red team wins more elections, I honestly think oil could be stuck here for a couple days. Minimum. And people are like, whoa, hold on. The red team is all for oil. Well, yeah, because then maybe the market anticipates oil coming online, which we know it's not. Just be thoughtful here. Be conscious. The market makers are using headlines. We talk about this. Stop thinking about what you want and think about how the market makers play games, right? If you're watching oil and you've got this nice move, right? Goes from, whatever, USO. I mean, here, go look at the futures. Got this song in my head. And you've gone from 82 to 93. Remember, we talked about this 93 being an area of resistance. Again, this is me thinking like the best way to screw the most amount of people is if everybody was chasing oil, anticipating a red wave, then it pulls back. That would confuse the most amount of people. And honestly, that would be, to me, the best dip to buy. Now, I know someone who bought some this morning, and I'm like, oh, man, I was taking profits. Now I know it's gone a little higher. That's fine. Just at this point, and that's how my brain works. I think like the market makers. Like, what would the market makers do here to screw the most amount of people over here? And it's very simple, right? If that's what the red team is running on, is the more oil supply, more drilling, whatever you want to call it, I would not be surprised if oil dropped on that news. If you don't think like that, then you've never seen the market just absolutely confuse people and then do the opposite thing in anticipation. Because keep in mind, no doubt, they're not going to turn the supply back on. They can't do it at this moment. It's an election. It's a bunch of, no one comes into power till next year. Anyway, point being, keep in mind, this 93 area is very important. All right? If the red side wins, do not be surprised. I mean, winning House, Senate, that's what I mean. If oil pulled back or it ripped, you're at an inflection point. You got to be very careful. You bought CF at 105.70. That is not the right spot to buy it. Absolutely not. But anyway, that's my thinking there. If you bought nat gas, and congratulations. Because what did we say? What did we say? You're going to have to be patient. Nat gas is a wily monster. Talked about getting wide and loose pennant. Said if it holds here, it's good. Some people bought it, and then they got really annoyed with these 5 days. And I was like, you got to be patient. I don't know when it's going to go, but if you bought down near the lows, this is the thing about trading. It doesn't always go one direction every day. Look what happened last time you consolidated. You had that big green. You had a couple days up. Then you pull back, then start another run. If you're long natural gas, you're coming into the next resistance. Don't be surprised if it gets up into the mid, I guess it's not really mid, but the lower third of the sevens and then gets stuck. It's just technical. I mean, the cold weather news. Got it. Everyone knows, okay? Cool. Please just trade around your core position, okay? And if you don't want to do that, then you better not watch it every day because you're going to get chopped around sometime. And again, the higher you run, the bigger the pullback. If you're bullish this stuff, which it makes sense, then you wouldn't mind seeing it sit around the sevens. I just talk about this all the time. Everyone just wants straight line moves, straight line moves, straight line moves. Bitcoin, doing nothing. Not even really reason to talk about. Gold, want people to see gold because I think people realize, like, oh, that's all right, makes sense why you took little profits today. Gold, 50-day. Been stuck. Now I know a professional gap. Yes, I see that. Okay, but here's my thinking though, right? If everyone knows the 50-day, it just went from, gold just rallied like $60, $70. I would love for it to consolidate here. Maybe even pull back to the 20-day. I don't know. Again, trading around a core. If it goes higher, great. There'll be another pullback later. If it pulls back here, even better, because if it ends up being a reload, meaning like a pullback to go, even better. Get the 2-day range, the 3-day action. We talk about this. If you've not watched the video on 2 and 3-day ranges, why they matter. You want to base. It's like this. You base. You go. You base. Oops, sorry. This is sometimes how it goes. Man, everybody just wants certainty, and it just drives me nuts. Like somebody coming in and buying gold this morning, I'm like, I get what you're seeing, but then buying the miners, even crazier. Even crazier. Like the miners, again, they're hard as hell to trade. You hold the base. We talked about 28. Now you rally up to 31s. You're right under the range highs. Why would you buy this morning? I mean, pray that it does what it should, which would be if it gets into the 32s or backs off, it consolidates. I'm telling you, the best action is to shake people out. Now, I know everyone said, oh, big candle, big gap up. I got it. But here's the thing. I tell this to folks all the time. You get in this mode of chasing and letting your emotions control your decision making, I guarantee you're not a good trader, and your account balances show that. And again, it's nothing personal. But that's the problem here. And you go, whoa. But Dan, it looks good. I don't care. I don't chase. I always let stuff come to me because I have no clue. What if it just comes right back down and it comes back to like mid-30s? Great. And if it rallies up to here, it's probably going to consolidate. It's just going to chop. So, I mean, what's your upside? $1? I mean, you can find $1 in CF in like an hour. NTR, AA. I mean, you can find $1. If you really are that desperate for $1, no. Wrong. No way. Would not do that. Would never. Like, all right, give it a break for a second. Let me get some coffee. All right. Let's run through everything. Get it right, get it tight. TLT. Talked about this no man's land going nowhere. Unless the market's about to absolutely implode. TLT might rally, but also the market might but it might hate higher rates. Doinga. I don't know. Dollar. Told y'all. Needed more information. That could be a trap. Now we're back right where we started. Not surprised holding 29s. See what happens. Remember, just every day isn't the day. Every day is not a continuation day. Remember, what did Livermore say? Market goes up a third of the time, goes down a third of the time, and goes sideways a third of the time. If you have no consciousness of that third sideways action, you are a novice idiot. And the reason why I say idiot, because it's literally the fundamentals of the game. It'd be like going in to play basketball and you don't realize you have to dribble. Yeah, you have to dribble the basketball to move. I mean, again, baseball, what do we have to swing the ball to probably get a hit? Swing at the ball. I mean, is every day up and every day monster down. If you don't know that and you don't think like that, that is a problem. The VIX. I mean, it's crazy, but some people don't. Now, we talked about money rotating, the market coming back down, the seasonality. If October doesn't crash, what happens? Oh, I lost a lot of people when I said idiot. Huh, too funny. What happens? If October doesn't crash, November's usually pretty nice and friendly. We'll see. Talked about this gap. Nobody talked about that when we failed up here. Said, ooh, the VIX did not confirm the market breaking down. Won't be surprised if the VIX pulled back. Now you see people going, oh, it's down 17 straight days. I mean, I've seen, just look to the left. Oh, down. For what? I mean, again, it wasn't all down, but that took, what, 3 months? 2.5 months? Have you not seen the VIX just implode? Yeah, Dan, I have. Or yeah, talking to myself. Yeah, here you go. Happens a lot. Here's COVID, and then a little bounce. Now, again, I'm longer term bearish, but nearer term, I've said this, I don't know, a gazillion times. I expect the market to find some sort of severance, like semblance of safety near term in commodities. The market's not going to implode. Now, if Apple, Tesla, all these names pull back and the market seems to hold, that's called rotation. People don't realize that. The rest of the market is absorbing money because think about Apple. It's the ATM of the market, and it's going into what? Look at your oil service names, XOP, ExxonMobil. Look at your certain sectors, right? They're absorbent. Materials, commodities, industrials, all the stuff, dirty stuff. Not tech, which is all shiny and sexy. We told you, money is coming out of that. If you want to trade it, go right ahead. Someone was asking about Meta today. Why is Meta up? Well, again, you're thinking like retail. But isn't cutting jobs numbers bad? No, they need to cut. Remember, the market maker needs to unload in bad news. If market maker's been short, operators short, that kind of news is what? It's easy to cover into. Clearly, everyone knew that was happening, hence why the stock has been absolute burned. Burn. Okay, well, how high could it pop? I don't know. You want to trade it? Go right ahead. Yes, Scott, all that liquidity, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. All that liquidity. All that liquidity. So, is it going into Meta? Probably not, but the liquidity of what? Short covering? Probably needed here. I mean, done pretty well. What happens after the big gaps? Could go lower. It just is what it is. Thing has been absolutely burned. Even since September, it's cut in half. It's like cut in half, cut in half, cut in half. Well, every time it gets cut in half, it's probably a good opportunity for people to cover. That's just my opinion. Talked about gold, silver, miners, XOP. What did we say? It's going to probably fill the gap. Well, now that it's getting up there, this is where I might be concerned about oil near term, right? We don't know who's going to win the election. Well, we know who's projected, but people say, oh, you're an election denier. No, I'm a election fraud believer. I believe fraud happens in all elections all over the country, left and right. The software, the stuff, the voting stuff is not secure. Anybody with a tech brain knows how to manipulate that stuff. Now, I'm not talking about people come in remotely necessarily, but it's the people working there if they want. I mean, think about your motives and it's people who are not ethical. So, again, election denier, no, I'm a fraud believer. I think it happens every election. I don't know where, I don't know. So, do we know what's going to happen? I don't know. Brazil's going nuts. The software stuff, it's if you don't think if people cannot manipulate software, then you're living under a rock. Think about the market, how rigged it is. Do you think they can't manipulate voting booths and computers from that? We'll see. Anyway, what happens with oil, XOP? Keep in mind, this is still the cheapest sector in the S&P 500. Valuation-wise, oil and gas names. Material names. I can't remember how they divide it up, but it's whatever. Still pretty damn cheap. Probably going to lose a lot of people, or someone will be like, oh, you're radical politician. No, I'm the Green Party. Let's talk about truth. If you don't like making money, that's fine. But that's part of it. Again, how many times have people projected things in elections and the opposite has happened? A lot. So at this point, again, if you were long oil and gas, I'd be taking profits. Now, all or nothing, that's up to you. But if your upside was the gap, maybe it needs a little time to base out. I don't know. If it fills the gap before the election, I probably would take more profits than not. Now, we don't know. Yeah, polling is definitely not any good either. Big Ugly agree. A lot of people don't like to even say what their affiliation is because they're worried about who's getting that information, which I don't blame them. I don't really answer any questions when someone publicly asks me anything about my beliefs. It doesn't matter. Focus on yourself. This is tough. I mean, you've got a winner. Now, people know Livermore would say, let your winners run. We get that. I just like to trade around the core when you got uncertainty. Because keep in mind, you got the CPI data on Thursday. The election could, again, it's not like a presidential election, but this midterm is very important about the next 2 years, clearly. Because if the red side wins the House and the Senate, then you got a lame duck president. And lame duck presidency, sometimes the market likes that, sometimes it doesn't. At this point, I would think the market probably doesn't like it because there's some major stuff that needs to be done. I think we all agree. Whether you're left, right, libertarian, purple, whatever. Some stuff needs to get done. We need these guys to work together, not just sit there and say, oh, we're going to wait for 2024. Nobody's got time for that. First Solar said watch this 145 zone. Not surprised it failed up at the channel high, and not surprised too. Potentially it dropped. If you shorted it, excellent. I personally wouldn't. I know it's been up a ton. I've seen this before. This chop out. We talked about the monthly. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If it works and it drops, great. I missed it. Well, guess what? It's tough to short a market that's rising higher in stocks, right? Now, again, if you're shorting tech, solar makes sense. Like you see, there's very specific instances where this is working. If you were taking advantage of that, that's awesome. Just again, I personally try not to fight the tide. If the tide is going out, I'm going out. I'm not trying to swim against it. If you want to do that, that is very good. That's on you. That's okay. Just be aware that it might not collapse. You just don't know. My only gamble is First Solar. Small play. Again, if small play, even if it wasn't a small play, if you had a stop and you got in near the highs, I mean, I understand the trade because I think it makes sense. If people are expecting a reddish wave, well, then maybe Solar gets penalized. It makes sense. This is where anticipating the moves. Where Colton, that's a great trade. If you took it and again, because it's working. Can't argue that. You can't argue that. But just, I would watch the 145. That's all. That's the next spot. Makes sense. Just simple. Simple, simple, simple. Apple needs to get their production out of China. Everyone who invested in China ultimately is going to be a monster loser. That's what we talk about. It's lay off Chinese stocks. Apple's learning that the hard way. We cannot continue to move money into China and invest in them because it's a bad return on investment. At any point, you could lose your nut. Oh, wow. AA is coming back. Okay, we'll check that out here in a second. Long story short, has to hold this level. I personally believe long term, this is a dead stock. You know, like, ever seen deadmalls.com? Just like years and years of malls being unmaintained. Well, that's what's going to happen to tech. Dead malls. Dead storage space for people's money. Remember, we know who comes out of this. Not tech. If you want to trade it and you think it's there, great. I mean, you could say the same thing about this like 190s, 200 level with Tesla. You want to trade it, go right ahead. I personally, and this is why I hate stocks that are lower, upper left, lower right kind of stuff, is that you have to think about who is above looking to sell. Who is above looking to get to even, right? Like, this is a little bit worrisome if you think of it from that perspective, because any pop, at some point, sellers are going to show up. This isn't a stock where it's well distributed with people who are likely more likely going to hold. I think more likely scenario, any pop, somebody unloading. I mean, I would be. Now, whether you like solar, or sorry, not solar, if you like Tesla or you like Elon, doesn't really matter. The chart's busted, but if it breaks this low, could be a trap, bounce back. I don't know. These stocks are way too hard, meaning my brain hurts trying to think about what's going to happen with them. Your guess is mine too. So it's, I don't know. You want to play this game, because this is the thing. You can play the chop zones. I think this is probably, I would say this is a harder trade than First Solar short. Like, that makes sense with the story. Right now, I don't know what Tesla's catalyst going higher is. I mean, does y'all not think Elon's probably thinking he spent $40 billion on Tesla and he's going to flip that stuff for $500 million or $500 billion at some point? Because he'll probably dominate Meta. Probably, he probably knows that TikTok will get banned in the United States. Just thinking out loud. Aaron. Interesting action. 2-day range. How about them apples? Does it really look bearish? I see higher lows, see a higher high in a 2-day range. Talked about buying it near 41. Cool. I don't know. You wanna guess what's gonna happen the next 20, 30 minutes, 2 hours? I don't know. I mean, you can trade around that and put a stop at the low of the day. Pretty simple stuff. We've talked about Boeing doing better. The stock has gotten obliterated. And most people would say, all right, Dan, you said lower left or upper left, lower right. Get it. Got it. Good. Nope. Good. I'm glad you reminded me that because this is different. What do you see at the bottom here versus the other stocks? What do you see? I see a big monster green candle showing stopping power and higher highs and higher lows after a decent drop. Now, if you go back and zoom further out, it looks a little better, right? It looks a little better, not great-ish, but after going from, 98 down to the low 30s, this is a material name, right? It's going to probably catch some feelings, some emotions from traders. This looks interesting because you have stopping power. Look, a gap down on earnings. I still remember this day, and I'm like, interesting, because I saw Alcoa down, I think reported at 1.810 whatever percent, and I'm like, I guess that's not a good sign for other commodity names. And I look back at the end of the day, I'm like, whoa. If y'all know that, whoa. It rallied back. Long wick closed right here around the gap, above the gap. Sorry. Okay. Didn't play it, and then it started pulling back. We're like, okay. I like this. I like this a lot. Now, how hard was it? I mean, you would think 38, 39. Nope. Came right back down. Held the backside of this trend line, then gapped up. Now, the whole China zero COVID policy, I think we all know that that's priced in. The market knows COVID, China, whatever. That policy is not going to stand for much longer. They can pretend. I mean, I think it's more of a guise to just control people versus actually control their economy. Now, I could be wrong. I don't live in China. I don't have inside contacts there, but I'm just thinking, a headline said 17 times at some point is priced in the market. We not agree? Think about the same thing would just happen with Meta. Did anyone in the whole planet, in the whole financial sector industry, not expect Meta to cut jobs? Anyone out there didn't expect Zuckerberg to fire some people? I mean, anybody out there at all, did anyone think Meta would not cut some staff? Anybody out there? I mean, anybody out there? Anybody? No. Everybody knew that. Okay, so y'all remember the whole, I'm trying to give examples of this kind of stuff. Remember how China was going to outlaw Bitcoin or whatever, cryptocurrencies. And at a certain point, it's like they stopped dropping. Like, yeah, we got it. Got it. Okay. You can repeat the same thing over and over, and now you're just beating us over the head with the same stupid news. No one cares. It's priced in. Remember, the market doesn't like what it doesn't know. Always remember that. Market does not like what it doesn't know. They can price in what it knows. Hence why, what have we talked about? The market seems to have this vertical drift going into what? The next Fed meeting. Because if they don't do anything beyond what they're already planning on doing, I think the market, and again, if they talk about not even pivoting, just less rate hikes, the market could get a little excited about it. But the reality is what? We know job losses are increasing. That's end of the year, here come the axes. Cutting the fat at a lot of businesses. So if they start raising rates as unemployment rises, that's how you see the next wave down. I don't think you're going to get a crash until then. Unless something, again, that we can't predict. You tell me, what's the next thing that we're not seeing? If you say Russia's going to drop nukes on Ukraine, get out of here with that crap. Absolutely. I mean, what was our buddy's name? Just continue to say, they're going to do it. I'm like, why would you take over a country and the first thing you do is nuke them? That makes no sense. You're going to ruin the whole crop. All the materials that you want to steal out of Ukraine by nuking it. That makes no sense. It's not like you just put it in the microwave and just heat it up. No, nuclear bomb is a freaking disaster to clean up after. You probably spend more cleaning up on it than you'll ever make in the 3 or 4 years after taking over the country. So that makes no sense. Anything else out there I'm missing? Maybe like a Europe currency collapse or a bond auction gone bad. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So, any questions? Feel free to roll in. If not, I'll let y'all go. I mean, as we talked about, not surprised the market doing a little pop and chop. Whoa, hey, right back. I'm just watching on the daily. I get in on the 10-minute. The 10-minute. Got a lot of support over here. Got a lot of support from this candle on this little gap up. Somebody had some feelings. I mean, I'd watch, again, upper 40s. Upper 40s. Could be a trap, just like CF talked about it on the Discord room. Like, let's go slightly lower and see what happens if it rallies back. Zing, it did. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, feedback? Again, apologize for kicking people out of the Discord room. I know a lot of people get mad about it. I'm like, but listen, if you're not really taking the concepts that we're trying to impress upon you and you want to just do your own thing, go right ahead. You can follow from afar. We're pretty transparent. Everything that's going on, posted on Twitter, stock twits, dropping videos, recaps. You can come hang out. I'm trying to mold people that are into the discipline and mindset that you need to succeed for the long term. This isn't a room full of gambling. I say this all the time. You are what your brain is. And what that means for me and how I explain it is that if your tendencies are to gamble, not treat $1 like you would $10,000, your goal is to try to get rich on every single trade, I can guarantee your outcome. I've done that. I know it. There's no doubt. It's just a matter of when you blow up. So I don't want to witness this in my Discord room. I don't want to see a bunch of people who just continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over. Get excited, get down, get not evidence-based, chase, do all like the little things that are just so obvious that you shouldn't do. And then they say, well, hi, you know what? I got lucky this time. It worked. Okay. Well, again, you eat that whole pie, you're not going to die. But you start eating a lot of pies, you're probably going to get fat. That's the point. It's one step in the wrong direction. And you take many, many, many wrong steps. And I watch what people say. I know their problems. I've made all their mistakes. I see people doing it over and over. I'm going to call you out. Well, the first 3 or 4 times, whatever. It's all good. But consistently, I don't have time for that crap. If you're not going to change because you can't see the mirror and everyone trying to help you, well, that's cool. I mean, it's your choice. Oh, but there's the different ways to trade. I get it. 95% of traders fail. So which percentage are you going with? The crowds? What they do? Okay, well, buena suerte. Good luck with that. It usually ends all the same. I guarantee you 99% of the people out there are doing all the things that they always do. And it's good and it's bad. And it's good and it's bad. And when it's bad, it's bad. And when it's good, it's probably not that great. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Please feel free to chime in. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. It's just at a certain point, let's say the pain to change is greater than the pain to stay the same, you'll change. I don't want to be a witness of that and pull teeth and pull people. No one is paying me to do that. And I don't want to. I don't want to get paid. Oh, coach me. Tell me how to do this. Tell me how to be better. No. I'll give you the information. You choose to do it. Because if you choose to do it, it's yours. It is absolutely yours. You will find greater success by doing things that make sense. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to say. Do you really want your parents to watch you and take care of you and tell you how to live your life, your whole trading, your whole life? No. They set you up for success and you either run with it or you don't. And some parents probably don't give you good information. That's the reality of the odds. Same thing here. People are like, hey, Dad, what do you think? And I always laugh. I guess typically, I could say that I am the parental figure trying to be rational and thoughtful. Oh, but I need to gamble. I need to do this. I got to do that. All right. I'll be here for your first 3 or 4 mess ups, but after a certain point, I'm not going to be there to console you, help you out. There's nothing I can do. You're digging your own graves. Digging your own graves, which is just is what it is. Any questions again? AA a little tougher here, needs to hold. It's 41. Gotta hold. It's 41 area. CF looking good. We talked about it like tightening up down here. Look below and fail. Rally back. Looking okay. NTR down by 72 at one point. Don't really have to chart it. I mean, you can see very clearly if the market's going to rise and CF is going to rise. I don't know why NTR wouldn't follow. I mean, you've got this big monster VAP zone on the intraday stuff from recently. Exactly where is it going to hold? I mean, now it's easy to draw after that, but I even thought down to 7. But again, it wouldn't make sense because this is the thing. You look at the daily. Check this out. And this is where it can be hard and very subjective. You hold massive long-term support here, right? Look at all the volume at price, right? Y'all see this. Bounces up. Exactly where it bounced, you couldn't know. You couldn't know for sure. Oops. Let me redraw the fib. It bounces, right? Long wick, decent wick. Gaps up, doji, need more information. Pulls back. I mean, how do you know it's not, what was the low today? 72.16. I don't know how you're going to predict that. I have no clue. But we said, all right, well, let's look at just 72s and watch how the market's acting, and just if it feels right, it feels right. Not surprised. And now you're right back. Flat action. We'll see. Multi-day ranges, multi-day chop is not necessarily dangerous. It could be absorbing more action. Either way, you have a plan. Say you buy it at 72 and you're like, if it's an intraday, you might give it only 30-cent stop. And if you get popped out, great. Whatever. Moving right along. If you're building a position because you didn't want to chase like everyone else, chasing drives me nuts. Here you go. Now you got a little pullback. Hope that makes sense. This isn't an easy trade other than your reference right here. At any point, it obviously could come right back to 71. So if you're going to trade it, be careful. Like, know your stops, know where you're adding, know that you could get backdraft. Here you go, AA. Any questions? Pretty quiet. I mean, I think people are starting to get this. And the people that aren't, I don't think, again, people are like, I get offers every day from SEO managers and digital marketing folks that are like, hey, did you know your SEO could be stronger? You could recruit more people to your channel and you could do this. Just, we can build up your search optimization. I'm like, no, don't care. I don't want to get flooded with thousands of folks. Help me. No, I can't do it. I mean, maybe my friends in Discord are going to help out, but I don't expect anybody. This is a buy yourself thing. You hit enter, you hit exit. Any other questions? Pretty quiet, which quiet is good to me. All right, so UAN, this is interesting. Talked about they had a similar thing where they dropped on their earnings. Look at this, just chopping. Mosaic. That's even rallying. Find love on new dating site. I'm going to pretend I didn't find love on a new dating site. I'm married. I don't need that. Sorry, getting some trash. Put user in timeout. How do I get rid of this? Come on. Just a bunch of trash. Whatever. Someone else wants to deal with it. Moderator. May God have mercy on all of their stocks and AMC shares. I did a video on AMC and GameStop and said, you got to get rid of these things. I mean, there is a sucker class. No, everyone always upside down asking for help. I mean, this is crazy. People were like, oh, you should have traded. I'm like, no, I know it goes. I know the story. It ends badly. God, I didn't realize it was down to $5. What's GameStop? I know a colleague whose brother-in-law made a bunch of money on GameStop and bought a house and was like, and sold enough to buy a house and said, I'm going to hold it because I think it's going to go back into the hundreds. Now, obviously, it's split. So what's the post-split? I guess it's still hundos. Right? Isn't that the split? Yeah. Unreal. Like, this is just pure garbage. We don't, we're not in the Garbage Patch Kids industry. Remember Garbage Pail Kids? Check this out. Come on, load. Give it to me. Oh, I'll just drop it in here. Huh. Dirty Harry. Whoever thought is right, whoever has the rights to garbage really should make them into NFTs. Oh, the irony there. Anyway, I feel for them. No, but you know what? This is the thing. I mean, everybody I've met, including myself, has been fallen to a trap. I mean, my trap was like the satellite radio stocks in the 90s. I was like, oh, those are going to the moon. They went to the moon, and then they went right back to grounded to back to Mother Earth. Any thoughts on SPY with Apple falling? I believe in the money rotation. Apple. I mean, it's just going to probably hold this base area. Could it pop? I don't know. When the market's ready to dump, it'll probably dump. And here's the thing. Could it literally continue to slowly unwind? Remember, slow unwind in Apple down 2 or 3 points, it doesn't really matter. That's just like cashing out. With the SPY, I personally think, let's look at it. I thought we'd get back up into the 390s at some point. And now, again, it's a little harder with Apple and Tesla acting like crap. But it's slowly grinding its way up, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe the SPY isn't the best play. It's the IWM, or it's just sticking to commodities. People are like, oh, diversification. I'm like, no, diversification is not good. It's already confusing to know what's going to happen in 1 or 2 sectors. You start trading all over the board. Good luck. Just try to find the best winners. Now, again, I feel like ag names have earnings galore going in the future. Oil and gas names probably will, but oil and gas are going to probably get a little volatile. I hate dividends. I don't give a crap about dividends. Dividends, I mean, if you want dividends, buy a bond. I hate dividends. People convince themselves that they hold stocks forever because of dividends. Good luck. Again, if you hold Apple forever because of its dividend, I mean, I don't know. There's been plenty of names that have been market monsters that go nowhere, but they have huge dividends. You want your 7%, but you can own AT&T? People always laugh about that. Now, Procter & Gamble, I mean, I know some of these names have done it. And they've been okay trades, right? But if my goal is just harvest dividends and anticipate that the company is always going to make money, I mean, at some point, something wrong can happen. So, I mean, I feel like you can find better returns than just holding stocks for dividends. Because, again, great in a bull market, don't care. Bear market, no freaking way. No way I'm holding a dividend stock through a bear market. You can kiss my ass. Dividends help in the short selling game. What do you mean? Dividends help in the short selling game? Dividends help in the short selling game. Getting people to stick to it? Maybe, I don't know. That comment, interesting. Trying to parse through what you mean. If you want to help answer it at some point, cool. If not, Chris, you are permeable on gold and silver, right? Well, let's just look at the charts. See what they say. Permeable? No. I don't permeable anything. I'm a gold and silver bull through a commodity bull market. Yeah. I will not hold it for 30 years because I've traded gold. I mean, you're building the base. A post-base cup. When this breaks out, yeah. I mean, there's going to be... I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about it. If you're not familiar with super cycles, tech goes to crap. Tech hates inflation. Tech hates higher input costs. You underinvest in commodities. Well, then you get a commodity bull market. And then at some point you overbuild the commodities. Tech loves it. Tech comes back. Tech has great low inputs. I'm telling my friends at 30 years old that next commodity bull market is coming. Yep. No, again, they're not gonna believe it's a bull market until the higher prices. Remember, the best advertisement for higher prices, higher prices. Okay. I gotcha. Synthetics. I mean, if you're talking about playing, again, there's some great options trades with dividend stocks. I won't argue that. You can do some awesome stuff. I mean, there's a technique called the printing press technique that you use for options or high dividend stocks when they're not. You can sell calls against their when they're not. Try to stay away from their dividend dates. That's what Mr. Buffett does. King of covered calls, Mr. Buffett. They think they're getting tech at a steal, but can't talk them out. Chris, because they don't know. Chris, I lived in Raleigh, Research Triangle Park during the 90s, 2000s, and I saw more people lose their ass on tech stocks, holding them forever. These people on paper thought they were millionaires and they're going to retire in 2 to 3 years, and then they didn't retire and they didn't have millions of dollars. This is what it is. Like, the market is meant to take the most amount of money from those people when it seems obvious. Here, do you want to know how you know the tech bull market was over? And if you go watch I have a video on risk management. We talk about the end of a move is the straight line move, right? Either it's a crash down or a straight line move up. I always tell people, like, this is the candle that made everybody believe Tesla was going to the moon, right? In a month, monstrous move. Remember, pre-split, it was hundreds of dollars. For years, they live off government subsidies. Too many car wrecks, too many problems, too much stuff. Elon's we don't believe in Elon. Tesla this, Tesla that. Bang! There it goes. Buy some Bitcoin. It shouldn't make you sick because people at some point are going to choose their own disasters. And I mean, I still have friends who, again, because Cisco was a big one in the 90s, 2000s. They're still trying to get back to even. Hoping, wishing, praying they never bought the stock in their life. But they've held it for 16 years. 17 years? No, sorry, like 18, 19, 20. 20 years. Jesus Christ. Oh, we collect the dividends. And it's like, all right, well, okay. Cool story. I mean, there's a lot of names littered with the past that either went belly up or went nowhere. People still, it's almost like people forget. Does anyone remember Microsoft in the 2000s? Look at this. If you bought it, right? AOL, great example. Yeah, think about Microsoft. Peaked 1999. Took you all the way till 2017 to get your money back. All right, went on a good run. Good luck. AOL, yeah. When Time Warner bought AOL, absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. It's crazy to think that I don't even have any of those tech names left on my screen from those dates. The only one left is really Microsoft. It's HP. That one's been nuts. I still remember that one. I guess that one came out of it. That was a donkey for a little while, but it's done so many splits. I'm trying to remember who else really survived. There's been so many names. Weird to see it all now. That's the thing. Think about what the market knows, my friend. Think what the market knows. It knows people have no thought of history. They see higher prices. They don't think anything ends. They don't see how money rotates. They don't see how bull markets leadership changes. Every bull market. Do you remember the bull market leaders from the 2003 to 2008? They were housing stocks. They were bank stocks. They were oil and gas stocks. They were coal stocks, steel stocks, ag stocks. All your favorite names that nobody remembers. I still got friends of mine who talk about Citigroup, how they're going to get their money back. I'm like, you're never going to get your money back. Never going to get your money back. Now, again, I like oil and gas names here, but I don't chase them up at this price. Wait for the dip. There's so many bank names that aren't coming back. I mean, you can pull all the... I mean, I could pull up European bank stocks, but they're not going. I haven't looked at Bank of America in a long time. What is that? It's trying to get back up there. I think Morgan Stanley took out its old highs. Right? Yep. It got back up there. It took a while. I mean, remember, a lot of the names got bought out for nothing. Pennies on the dollars. You know, get your countrywides. Like Goldman ended up benefiting because Buffett ended up helping them a ton. Yeah, you just, again, when the sector, when the bull market ends, the names change. But that's the thing. Remember, as Livermore said, if you're newer, please listen to Livermore book, Reminiscent of a Stock Operator. I'll drop the link, or someone will drop the link. I mean, it talks about how operators, like, the best way to convince people to keep buying is that the news will push it, even though the stock has peaked, and that's when operators are unloading into and they're shorting. But you don't know that until what? It ends. Hence why the layering in, layering out, being thoughtful. Like, you got to be smart about that. Because a lot of people will do what? They just buy and hold. Oh, come on. Let me type it in there. But the problem with buy and hold is that people realize, is like most people don't realize, the Dow, the S&P 500 is always churning the winners and losers out. Stocks that were once winners become losers, and if they can somehow adjust, maybe they come back. If they don't adjust, they don't come back. When I say adjust, meaning what? They almost have to reinvent their own business. They have to invest in, diversify into some other part of business, change their business model, whatever. People love to see the market paint. I mean, I guess, people don't realize, here, look at some of these commodity names. This is what was hard for me, is to see names that did this, take 6 years to do this, and go, you got to leave those things alone. You could trade letter X, but you got to leave that alone. Right? XOP. I mean, you're still not anywhere back near, there you go, little higher high in 2014. People will probably be holding on to Cliff. Been buying it, holding it since, the hundreds, $13. Now, again, it's probably going to wake up and go into a bull market. Maybe not this one. Their stock is such crap. But people don't realize, once the game is over, once the Momo is sucked out, you got to just let it play out. And usually it doesn't take 1 year. Money rotates. Money absolutely rotates. So you look at, something like Netflix. I'm always joking, people are like, oh, I'm holding this for the long run. I'm like, good luck. Have fun with that. Google. Oh, you got to buy that now. Good luck with that. Backside of the mountain. Don't give a crap. Meta. Oh, I think it's cheap. Well, it's probably going to get cheaper. Good luck. I wouldn't buy that. Semiconductor. Same thing. Once semiconductors become a commodity, here's the 2000s. Crashes from 100 and whatever. Was it 106 to 13, 14. Here you go. Backside of the mountain. But that's the thing, Chris, do yourself a favor and stop telling these people, because they're not going to listen. You're wasting your breath. Invest in what you know. Invest in yourself. I mean, you can warn everybody. They're not going to listen. I've been doing this for 20 years. I tell people what to do, and I warn them, and they're just like, I don't know. Okay. But Dan, don't you do well? Yeah. Again, I don't brag about it. No. You can try to help everybody, but really the best thing you do is help yourself. Just trying to help out just trying to help out your friends and your family are going to be the worst people to negotiate with, especially in this. How many people do you think I talk about real estate? If you bought 10 properties in 10 years, tell me how you're going to live the 10 years following. You're going to have tons of cash flow. You're going to have a ton of cash, equity built. You're going to live like a king. But, buying one house, investment properties, it's so hard. It's so hard. What happens if the tenants don't pay? What happens if they tear something up? Yes, bad things happen. Yeah, just got your third home. Yep, just closed on ours. We sold a lot in North Carolina, sadly. Never selling a property ever again unless I really have to for 1031 purposes to buy something else, say like a multiple homes in one area. But again, you're wasting your breath telling your family to sell. I mean, I got a good friend of mine who owns, I don't know, a couple thousand shares of Apple. He's never sold. He won't sell. I was like, you don't think there's better stuff long term? Nope. Nope. He's going to hold Apple forever. Hopefully it does well. Hopefully it defies the odds. Yeah. Oh, man, I wish I would have. We moved to Denver and we rented first year, sold our properties in North Carolina, and then instantly, as soon as we sold them, we're like, crap, we need to buy more. So we've been accumulating here on the Front Range. Struggling finding a tenant now. Don't care. Not going to scream and cry about it. I want that house. That house that I bought is in a chrome location. Don't care near term. Will be an absolute cash cow. Remember, what does well in a commodities bull market too? Housing inflation. Housing inflation. Don't care about the cash flow. House prices will continue to rise at some point with the shortages. Man, how long have I been doing this? An hour? Yeah, man. I appreciate your support. Again, I think the thing about trading, the markets, whatever you're doing, yeah, 7% interest. That's what my first interest. That was my first loan. Was at 7%. So I'm not that uncomfortable with it. I don't think a lot of people realize, like, this is a buy yourself thing. Yeah, real estate, again, if you can buy it on a dip, yeah, I mean, even, y'all know. Again, it's not like I'm talking to a bunch of novices here about real estate. I love it. Love it. The goal is to make money in the markets, take it out, and buy more properties. I'm telling you right now, having the biggest trading account is a liability. Because at some point, you, me, Chris, everybody here, you will go into what I would call bad trading. It happens. You're out of place. Market's not doing what you think. The evidence is confusing. Your emotion, and this is usually what it is, your emotions are screwed up. Maybe you're having marital problems. Maybe your kids are having problems. Maybe you're having health problems. It really affects your trading. You go into a rut. If you continue, and again, I tell you, run this like a business. Take money out, buy properties, buy gold, silver, buy whatever you think is safe. And again, safe meaning what? What's the downside? That's what I ask people. Crypto, I don't ever ask me about crypto. The only thing I look at is Bitcoin. I think it's okay. But I don't know the long term. I mean, it's not like gold been around 5,000 years traded as a currency. I don't know. It's not like a commodity where you need it. Crypto, don't know. I don't know who the winner is. I think it's going to be FedCoin at some point. You ever watch Mr. Robot, eCoin, that kind of crap? That's my worry is that's one of those. Yeah, I lost. Yeah, and I had to say, yeah. Okay, so if anybody wants, I'll tell you the recipe for coming out of a funk. Would anyone like me to spend 5 minutes just explaining how that works? The best way to restart if you're into losing, because it's going to happen. Trust me, I'm doing this 20 years. I've been in some funks, and then I made my money back very quickly once I got my head right. Would you guys like to hear this? Okay. This is why I'm in trading. Well, I try more rental properties. Hell yeah. I love it, Leader Landscape. Awesome. Love it. All right. When you are trading badly, the first thing to do is to stop. Stop trading altogether. Now, I know people will be like, oh, but the market's about to do this, about that. Stop. The market will be here tomorrow. It'll be here next week. It'll be here next month. It'll always be there. The first thing you have to do is stop. And meaning stop, like, you're probably emotionally unfit. You're probably stressed out. You're probably feeling what I would consider irritable, like you lost money. You're worried about making it back all at once. All these things are self-created to alleviate the pain. But the reality is that you will actually blow up more than likely if you don't stop, because the solution is almost sabotaging you. You don't realize that. Like, your brain at some point is just like, keep trying. And then at some point you just blow up. And the reason why you blow up is it's self-preservation. It sounds very hard, like doesn't make sense, but think about it. If you try really, really hard and something continues to not work, you're almost addicted to the outcome being a blow up. You don't even realize it. Like, that's what I realized for me. Because it was the quickest way to stop. I wouldn't stop. I literally wouldn't stop until I made my money back. And then what happened? Blew out my account. Well, then you study, like Randy Howe, you study the psychologists, and they're like, well, the ultimate solution was always going to be a blow up, because You were trying to make something back all at once, and you kept adding risk versus less risk. And so subconsciously, you were going to lead to the same path. Hence why 90% of traders blow up, right? We all know that. How, why, that's why. Like, that's always what's going to happen, because no matter what you do, especially in a losing streak, in a funk, your emotions are taking on more risk. You're not being subjective. Now you're being emotional. So the first thing, again, stop. Stop trading. I know that's hard. Like, it's like getting away from the casino table. It's hard. It's really hard to go, I think the market's going to rally next week. I got to stay in. Nope. Stop. I promise you. All of a sudden, that pressure, okay, you'll step back. You go, all right, well, I lost X amount of dollars. Whew. You have to take that breath, and you have to say, all right, where am I going to go next? Am I giving up? Or am I going to try to do this correctly and learn from my mistakes? Because that is the key. Mistakes are how you get better. It's ignoring the mistakes that allows you to continue to make them. Seems obvious as crap, but when you're in an emotional funk, you're in a losing streak, you're in a bad place, I'm guarantee you're going to, like, this is what happens. Yeah, you're going to continue to beat yourself up. So that mental turmoil, it just, again, if you get lucky and then you win it back, did you really fix the problem? So that's why stopping, and then next step is going, all right, what did I do consistently that led to this? And typically it's not like you did something that is terrible, or maybe you have bad habits, but sometimes you're just the market. You were wrong about the market. When you were wrong about the market, it doesn't matter. Right? Like if you're fighting the tide, remember we talked about going against the tide. If you're trying to short and the market's going higher, it doesn't matter. You're trying to buy the market as it's dipping, it doesn't matter. Like sometimes that's just as simple as it is. Okay, we'll say it's not the market. Well, then you're probably over trading. You're probably going too large at points that don't make sense, right? You're trying to go large. I mean, I'm laughing at people who are, again, you're buying gold today. You didn't buy it last week near the lows. You're buying it today, and you're hoping it goes higher. And again, if that gamble works, great. But that's not the idea. It's to, identify the spots, to be more thoughtful, to be, again, emotionally intelligent. And that's so hard when you're losing consistently. People don't realize this. There was a point in my life when I had 20 straight losses on like decent sized trades, and I really got pissed. I got very pissed. And I was like, I don't even, and when I stopped, I go, I don't even know how you could lose 20 times in a row. Like, think about trading in a sense of like being a coin flip. If you are an actual trader using logic and decent setups and information, losing 20 times in a row is really hard to do. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, if I can lose 20 times in a row, couldn't I win 20 times in a row? All right, so we need to reverse engineer what we did wrong. People won't do that. They won't self-analyze. And you have to become the master of your own emotions. People always know, like, you don't ever seem to get up or down about the action. I'm like, no, because I let the spots talk and I stop out if I'm wrong. Like, small losses are great to me. Again, where was mine to step away? It was my circle of friends. It was the people I was trading with. They're like, bro, you're in the funk. Like, you're in the hole. You're on tilt. Think of like poker. You're usually right, but whoa, you're seeing things wrong. Like, why are you investing more in this belief that you're right when it's wrong? And it's like, every iteration I get better about that. That's what the Discord room is for, to be honest with each other. Not to, like, again, not to, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like a group of people who are being honest with each other and will call each other out. But also, if we're all evidence-based, this shouldn't be that hard. Right? Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like, if I show you, anyone here last Thursday? Anybody here last Thursday? I'm just curious. I tried to ask everyone, it's like, is there any reason why I shouldn't buy gold down here? No one could find a reason. And I'm like, I hate gold, but this is, not long-term, near-term. I was like, I don't know. I don't trust it. But it literally broke below the lows, looked below and failed, and closed back in the range. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take a stab at it. I mean, I started actually taking a stab up here because I was like, it might be playing this game. So bought a little here, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to stop out or I'm actually going to double up. And then I said, all right, tell me why I shouldn't. Down 7 months in a row. Big down move. Now, again, I'm not talking about going to the moon for a trade. Worst case scenario, trade around a core. Retest the lows. I'm like, okay, see what happens with the job number. Boom, gaps up. I mean, you couldn't point a case for other than, because this action on Thursday did not say it was going lower. But also, too, what did we expect? The dollar. We didn't trust the dollar. So, I mean, again, there's a lot of little things. Being early happens. If y'all know me, I'm typically early. Nailing the actual perfect entry is not easy. But when it gapped down, and again, I didn't even get at like the lows. I was just watching 151. I was like, like if this gets back over 151, this is interesting. Because then it, we all know the definition of a bear and bull trap. If you watch the videos, like looking below and fail, coming back up, multiple month churn or weeks. Okay. I mean, that's just sometimes what trading is. You're going to be a little early. You're looking at the spots, but this is why I hate day trading versus swing trading. Like, I can't predict every move within a 6.5 hours. I just can't. I don't have the bandwidth, the mental capacity, or the ability to pretend that I know how the algorithms are going to play out the market intraday all the time. We do know amateur hour. We do know the last hour is power hour. We know lunch. We know certain repeating tendencies. But to say that for every day you can sit down and go, all right, here's going to happen at 8, all right, well, I'm on Mountain's time. This is going to happen at 7:30. This is going to happen at 8:30. This is going to happen at 9:30. This is going to happen at lunch. This is going to happen at 1 o'clock. No. Thank you, Shannon. No, again, this is why I tell people, like, if you're literally listening to other people who are not showing you evidence-based trading, that's why I hate all these social media. Man, I got to wrap this up soon. All these social media fake traders. They make it sound easy. I'm always scaring the crap out of people. I'm trying to scare you into a reality of be smarter, be more disciplined, work harder, spend 30 minutes, an hour every day trying to predict the candles. And when I say predicting, I was like, it's called predict the guess the next candle game. I used to do this all the time. And I'd be like, okay, based on this, the seasonality, first of the month, options expiration, I think it should probably chop for the next 2 or 3 days. Okay, OPEX is done. If you failed at the 20-day and the 200-day, it's probably going to start falling more. Okay, boom, boom. This is what you would do. You get very good at predicting the daily candles, the monthly candles, the weekly candles. The intraday candles, keep in mind, they're just recurring patterns of the longer-term stuff, just on intraday time frames. And they're a little harder to predict, right? You don't know what's going to happen. That's why we're talking about like CF this morning. If the market's rising, going up, right? And it pulls back to the 50-day, I think you can buy that. I need that book that you were talking about a few weeks ago. It shows you the seasonality of the market month over month. You talking about the Stock Trader's Almanac? It's not cheap, but it's, I mean, again, we talk about that. I mean, the month over month stuff, I mean, that's the Almanac. I mean, there's only really 3 books. Here's the other one. Now, again, if you use these links, cool. I get like a quarter or something off of them, but I love to have them so people can use them. Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis by Anna Cooling. 3 books. That's all you need. And the one about operators is honestly the one that you need to think about. People don't realize this. Like, you literally need to think about the market for what it is. It's a mechanism to take the most amount of money for the most amount of people. If you're thinking of it about how it's supposed to pay you, you're the same idiot that walks into a casino and goes, I'm gonna win. Every time I show up to the casino, I'm gonna make thousands. Wrong. Oh, hello. Thank you for the... Wow. All right. Awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Greetings from Spain. We would like you to analyze the DOD USD chart and give us an opinion how far you can go. Do you think the decentralized exchange will be the future? All right. So the DOD USD. Let me just type that in. this is hard. I mean, oh my God. I appreciate the super chat, but I've said this for a long time. I don't trust any of the central bank tendencies for digital currencies. Because I think, again, everyone believes in a decentralized network needs to happen. Again, we need to stop governments from being able to print endless money all the time, putting tax, and inflation is tax on people. To ultimately say, like, I know which crypto is going to win. No, I don't. I do know gold and silver. I know oil. I know gas. I know all these things are going to do well. Commodities. I don't know who wins the digital currency game. I appreciate your super chat here. I mean, that looks like accumulation at the lows. Alpha, is this the correct chart? I just want to make sure. That looks bullish. But I would set a stop at 10 cents or whatever the low is. I would absolutely set a stop. I don't know. You got to be careful with crypto because it's government regulations. I mean, they did it to gold and silver in the past. They've done it to if you understand how a lot of the exchanges work, like the CME and stuff, they literally can manipulate the prices of oil, gas, materials through margin calls and raising margin requirements. Like it's a tough game. To believe that any one digital currency is going to win, or that these exchanges will somehow create a system that will be able to be bypassed from government intervention, I don't know. That I struggle with that thought process every day. Because I know friends who have a ton of crypto and they're anticipating big things. And I hope they do well. I personally own 0 crypto. Call me old school. I don't know. Call me the person, like, if I can drop it on my foot, see it, hit it, touch it, it's real to me. Stuff on the internet, to me, feels like a trade. When I say internet, I mean crypto. It is not easy. And anybody telling them they know the solution, maybe. AANTR. Yep. I mean, again, the market's chopping around. We talked about this. I don't know if I expect a ton today. Mosaic after the close. We'll see. Trade around your positions as you need. I apologize. I can't. And this is the thing, like, know what you don't, be able to admit when you don't know something, humility. I don't dig deep enough in crypto to really trust any of it and know enough to give legitimate information on it, because I know stocks. I know the bond market. I know the commodity markets. Digging deep into crypto puts me down a rabbit hole that I don't know if it'll be, what I would say the best. I don't know if it's going to be around. I mean, I don't know the winners. This feels very early in the game. You speculate. You probably, again, Bitcoin obviously made a ton of money if you did it. It's very early in the game to know who's going to win. So you're speculating on things that could go all or nothing. I don't do that with my capital. I do not. I'm more always worried about losses than my wins. I appreciate Chris your super chat as well. How can I put significant capital into something knowing that at any point I don't know what it's going to be valued at? Like, that scares me more than, I can make 1,000%. Because I work hard for this. You work hard for this. To your earnings. You make this money. If you want to gamble on it with pieces, small pieces, go right ahead. I think that makes sense if people want to put small amounts into things that they think could go big. It's just, I treat them like lottery tickets. People say, you hate penny stocks. Yeah, I do. Every once in a while, I'll find one or two that that interest me. Like Rada, bought this guy many years ago. It's like 2019, I don't know, somewhere down here. And I hold on to it. And I put enough in it knowing I could go to 0. It's up 300%. Great. It's traded around it. Again, I don't even talk about it because it's like, bought such a small amount of it. But I think 500 shares. At one point, I had like a 1,500. Don't care. Penny stocks, cheap stuff, gambling on names that I struggle with that. Because again, I'd rather put my money in real estate than buy crypto. I'd rather put spare capital into an investment that I don't have to worry about. I got enough to worry about. I'm trying to help friends, family, everybody in the Discord room, everybody in the, who's following what I'm up to kind of dabble into things that I don't know well would be a disservice to other people. Good question. Good topic. Any other questions? If not, I'll let it run. I appreciate everybody. Again, this is hard. And I say this to people and they don't realize this, and at some point you'll figure it out. You'll realize it. Like, trading is going to expose every single weakness that you have. Every single weakness. If you are a lazy person, it'll penalize you for being lazy. If you are a A-type belief that when you do something you're always going to be right, it's going to penalize you. If you're a passive person that when you're losing you just hold on, it will penalize you. Like, passive meaning like you just will take pain. You're just, say you have some trauma in your life where your reaction to pain is to like just deal with it and suck it up. Everything. That's what's going to happen. May I get an invite to the Discord room once it opens up again? Just hit me up on Twitter. We'll talk about it. I say this all the time. A lot of people can get 99% of what they need from here. But if people are going to trade differently, and meaning they don't want to treat trading like a business, and they want to gamble, and they want to speculate, and they want to do things that don't make sense. And when I say don't make sense, like they're just more into gambling, then they can, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to try to coach them on that. I have no desire to help people like that, because remember, gambling means you also can lose. Like, goal is not to gamble, to speculate and try to get rich with the risk of losing a ton. No, like, trading is way hard. Yeah, hit me up on Twitter, man. Again, a lot of people have changed their names. There's a lot of people I know that I've kicked out of the Discord room and come back. And then later they find out, I'm like, you're literally typing and talking the same way every time. Like, this person has to be the same. Or there's people who are, I hate to kick them out, but the only reason why I'm like, I don't know how to get them to be like, how to change mentally. And it was never personal. It was like, I don't know how to give you a wake-up call. Like, something's got to change. No, I mean, like, same name in the like, change names in the Discord room. They come in and they create a new handle or account, email address. I know they do it, and I'm like, all right, you really want to be here, but you really want me to kick you out again, I will, because if you don't change, we're just wasting time. We're just wasting absolute time, and that's not the goal here. No, it's not frustrating for me in the sense of what it is. It's just frustrating to see people. So, what's the definition of sanity? Insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and expecting different results. You can't do that. You have to be willing to self-analyze your mistakes so that you don't make them again. And everybody's personality is different, so people will have different reoccurring tendencies. Well, if you're a gambler, you're going to gamble and lose at some point. If you overtrade, at some point, overtrading is going to lead to a mistake because you can't predict everything. The type of people that don't use stops, at some point, not having that stop will blow them out. People believe in certainty. Guess what? They find out it's a probability-based game. Again, once you think you have an edge, the market's adapting. You think you use technical indicators that follow price, you don't have any edge. No, it's just following price. RSI, MACD, stochastics, Bollinger Bands, all bullshit. Wave theory, I guess. Hey, it is what it is. All right, I'm going to get rolling. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the super chats. Alpha, sorry, I don't know how to answer your question safely, and meaning like I don't know how to say it best. Yeah, if you're just trying to be a smarter trader, well then study other smart traders. That's what I did. Again, I do it for free for people, but I spent tons of money on this education, but also from losing money too. It wasn't, again, nothing is free. Nothing is free. You either pay with it with time, energy, money, something. There's always a cost. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys. See you soon. Do a live recap. I don't know if I'll do a live recap later, but there'll be one later. I got some things to do. And again, if you're looking for real estate stuff, I'm telling you, this is the time to look. If somehow interest rates spike lower, And even if it's just a 4 or 5% for like a month or two and you're not ready, you're going to be pissed. Look at 2008, 2009. Remember? All right, y'all. Peace.